Hello, my friends. I'm good. Hope you are too. So, why is ancestral trauma or ancestral lineage so consistent within a sacred ceremony? Why is it so consistent within psychedelics? Why do we then go into our ancestral things and try to solve things from there? So, from a scientific perspective, there's something called our genes. And that means that your parents or your grandparents will pass your biological body to you, right, genetically. But there's something also called epigenetics, meaning that the behavioral systems that they had is also passed along to you, right? So it's not only just the biological system, the body, it's also the behavioral system, the neuroplasticity that is just your brain, where they pass it along to you. Even if you are not raised by them and you're raised in a totally different country, let's say, since we are in Southern Africa, let's say you're in a totally different country that is like, let's say, Cambodia, something that's like almost the opposite of Vietnam, of where we are. So you then your behavioral systems that come from your genes will still be with you because they locked in your body. The memory of existence is within you. The lifetimes and lifetimes that all your ancestors have lived is right inside of you. It's not somewhere there, somewhere where you're gonna be like, let me ask my grandfather for, so that I can have money and great fortune. That's not how it is. It's in your body. It's your energy system. If you could wear glasses that can see an energy system, you'd see the whole lineage from the beginning of existence. So that's just the scientific part. But let's go now into the more spiritual part, which is the psychedelic journey. In psychedelics, you might find that there's a wound within your family system where people don't live above a certain age. And then you are reaching that age, let's say it's 40, and you start having those thought patterns of like, I want to kill myself, I want to go, and and only to find that that has been in your family since maybe 5 generations ago, and it's just been passed along because no one had closure to that, and so that energy lives with you. And it goes, I know that sounds insane, but that's just how it is. That's from the more psychedelic journey thing. So where you are now looking at the pattern, the ancestral trauma. If, for example, your great grandparent was raped, and then they never broke through that. They died angry and they passed that anger, and they were so guarded with your grandparents now, and they're guarded with everything. She had no freedom. And then she grows up and then she gives her kids more freedom, and the kids feel like they don't have a parent, they have a child at home because they're not dealing with this thing. It's just passed along. She went from a tent, she went from rape to guardedness to absolute freedom where there's no like sense of responsibility and maturity, and then that spills on to other things as well. And if that energy was not solved, the chances of you being raped in this lifetime increase dramatically when it happened to your great grandparents if they never closed that energy, right? When we're saying closing that energy, I'm not talking about some woo woo thing where we're not like, yeah, 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 yeah. No, it's not something like that. When we are talking about closing energy, we are talking about finding a breakthrough and finding love from the situation. It's hard to think that way on something that is harsh as rape, but ultimately, that's what you find when you are going through a psychedelic journey. You start understanding the perpetrator and the predator. You understand their life and what they went through, and what created this child who was born just like you in this universe to be a predator. The circumstances that made him choose to be that. Everything that is surrounding him, his life, the torture maybe when he's a child, the being kept infantile, but at the same time not exploring your body when you're a teenager. So all those aspects, or maybe even they went through molestation as well, and the safest spot they could find when that was happening, the safest spots they could find was that of being a predator. So they inherit the energy with them, right? And that's what generational trauma is, that is passed along. And here's this guy, he comes now and he does the same thing that was done to him to you. and now you're angry, and so you are now shown that this person is a human being and just a child of this universe, and things happen to him and all of this, just like stuff happened to you, and but you are dealing with it differently because you want to solve it, and they dealt with it in a different way. They thought that's the way to go about with it, but it wasn't, because it creates more harm than good. All right, so you understand that, and it breaks it collapses the illusion that there's someone who's animalistic in nature, who doesn't deserve forgiveness, who needs to be punished, and it takes you to a more reconciliation and closure place, right? So that's the ancestral trauma that I'm talking about, that comes from psychedelics, where you go through your past, where it's almost like an ancestor might just come to you, maybe someone who passed away recently or from the past, and say, "Come here, let me show you what happened. This is where this pattern came from. So since you have TENS and you have migraines, let me show you when your mother was pregnant with you, and now you're being shown this. So your mother, your ancestor, right? You're being shown all these things where she is going through the worst when she has you in her stomach, and there's this man who's bullying her, and she probably had a secret lover, and she wasn't sure what was happening, and then she started having these migraines, and because she was tense in that period, you then tensed up in your mom's stomach, and that's why you like, I've always had this. I've went to every single specialist, and I cannot find a solution to this, only to learn that that's where it came from. And once you learn where it came from, then you learn the beauty of that experience, meaning that you're the journey your mother went through in order to give birth, and then you understand her, and you understand that no wonder she was like this to me as a child. You get her, right? Still not justified, but you get the sense of responsibility that I'm responsible for how I feel. And then it also goes and oh, this should be another video. There's some entities or astral energies that go and just fix your body in that moment, like they fix, if you want to call it chakras, yeah, that chakra that is locked, or if it's the migraines, and you can feel that something's being removed, and after the journey you feel like, wow, you know, I haven't had migraines for a long time, for 2 years or whatever, after a sacred journey, because that was sorted through ancestral lineage. So you go through that and you understand both sides of how this thing comes, and you find closure in that moment for your great grandparent. And then, in a sense, you find closure. It's almost like a cleansing ceremony, right? It's like you're cleansing everyone through this. I hope you understand this. It's amazing the amount of power you have as a human being to shift the memory of your existence. Gerbong.